Hello YouTube, it's your girl again, People of the Purple Butterfly, on here known as People 7, Purple Butterfly People.blogspot.com, and people elsewhere on the internet. I'm here to make a requested video on cornrows and French braids and what's the difference. So let's get started, shall we? First you're going to need, every comb you own, or some clips and one comb. But since I have many duckbill clips that are this big instead of the big chunky ones, because I've broke all those over the years, I use combs. You're going to need a spray bottle with just plain water in it. And for slip, if you're not using product like I'm not, this is olive oil. Well, actually it's olive oil, canola oil, and some peppermint oil, my own blend, and a spray bottle. But currently I'm not using any products on my hair because I'm doing a Terra Essentials hair challenge and I'm on day 5. So it's water and oil. Oil is the only other thing that's going in my hair in this time frame. So let's get started, shall we? First, you need something to part your hair. I use this. This used to be a rat tail comb, obviously. My hair is stronger than the comb. I generally part with my fingers like that, and I can literally make very straight parts with my fingers. But for those that don't keep their nails like claws or are not proficient with parting with their fingers, get something like this and make a part. That's actually harder for me. I'm making these large so you can see. That's a pretty straight part. Okay, now, 1 second. I don't do anything to my hair without adding a little water first. My hair is just friendlier when there's water. Now I'm going to use this comb to anchor that out my way. Okay, now, before I do anything else, a lot of people will braid on dry hair, but then when you sweat or it gets wet or whatever, that natural shrinkage that curly hair gets will make it pull in an uncomfortable manner, and I don't like that. So I always leave myself just a little bit of room, or I spray water. Now I'm going to take this comb. You notice all my combs are very large tooth. That's because my hair is very curly. I even have one like this, but I use that for combing through if I ever get a tangle. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just mist with water. I'm even going to split the section I'm working with and mist with some water. Hey, the sun just came out. Cool. And then I'm just going to pull the moisture through. When I could go like this without stopping from a tangle or snag or a curl, then I know the moisture has done its job. I don't even worry about detangling. If I could do that, it's detangled. See? Look at that. That makes it much easier to work with. Now, comb's escaping. Hold on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my oil, and I'm not going to spray this on my hair. You can, but to me that's too much oil. I'm going to spray it on my hand. Like that. So now my hands are all nice and shiny with the oil. And that's not quite enough. And it's hard to spray the bottle because, there's now oil on my hands. But now I'm going to just go like this. What that does is allow my hair slippage. So that way, when I do the braid, I don't have to worry about dry patches. Now, what you're going to do, see how close I can get, just pull yourself out of section, divide that into 3. I usually just stick 2 fingers in there, and it gives me 3 sections of hair, see? And when you twist like you're doing a regular braid, you bring your finger in and scoop it. That grabs another bit of hair. Do your twist. When this finger comes back, you're going to scoop. When you go to twist for the other section, you're scooping. And slide your hands out gently to keep the hair from tangling while you're twisting it up in this manner to make it braid. That's how you end up with braids that doesn't result in, say, big chunks of hair. And people go, oh, I said hair. No, you grabbed too much and you pulled and you yanked out chunks. Have to be gentle with this, especially if you're doing it on wet hair. Now, you will notice that braid actually has movement. I am not braiding so tight that it can't move. If you can't do this, see my eyebrows? Without your hair, if you go like this and your hair is going like this with it, you got that too tight. You want it loose. But you'll notice I'm going underhanded. Under. And that makes a cornrow. See? It's on top. Now, I'll probably do this video in better lighting later. Underhand makes a cornrow, and when you put another one right next to it and another one right next to it, it looks like rows of corn. That's how it got its name. Interesting bit of trivia that I learned during the course of time, and I had never knew that, so I found it really fascinating. Ouch! I just stuck the comb right in my ear gear. Now, we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm using this parting. I'm going to call it a parter from now on. It's a broken comb, but, points made. And I'm doing that for your benefit only because I generally prefer to use my fingers. I get much better results when I use my fingers. And, of course, a little water, just so I can smooth things out the way easier. Now I'm going to anchor it with the comb. And that's actually going to block, so I'm going to anchor this side too so you can see. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. Well, pretending like you're not watching me, I'm going to do it the way I normally do it. I'm going to split the section first and spray. Then I'm going to bring it together. Spray, 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 spray. And work the water through, because that is what I do. Oh, for those that are traditional old school, that's when you go like this and very gently comb through. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. I generally don't use combs for, even when I do the teeniest braids, and I'm using this comb, and, well, you can't see that, can you? This comb and this comb, I'm generally not combing through my hair with that. I use my fingers 99% of the time. Now, more oil on my hands. There we go. Now this is going to be a French braid. And you're going to do the same thing you did the first time. You're going to grab a section of the hair. You're going to turn that into 3 sections. But instead of going to the right and under, what you're going to do instead is you're going to go to the left and over. So you're doing the exact same motion, except for now when you're scooping, you're literally scooping up with your thumb and turning. Okay? And you're using your finger to pull this part out while you're scooping with your thumb. And you're doing the same thing here. I'm hoping you can see this. Oh, and French braids, please go slower, because it's an inverted braid, and if you have long fingernails, you will snag and pull some hair out, and you don't want that. Now, you'll notice with the French braid, it's not so much my fingers as my arms. I'm using my arms. Oh, there you go. I'm using my arms to get the motion instead of my fingers. And then once you're done with the part that's in the hair itself, just continue braiding, but now your braiding is overhand instead of underhand. So what that does is actually gives you 2 different looks. get this section here out the way so you can see the difference. Oh, that's cute. I'll just put it in a ponytail and leave it like that. I have a headband on my wrist, so I'm going to use it as a ponytail holder. Wow, it's grown. I could get a bun back there instead of just a regular ponytail puff. Okay, now I'm going to grab a towel and get the oil out of my hands because I don't want it on my camera. But if you look at this side, you can see how that braid is on top of the scalp, floating literally. Well, let's get out the sun so you can see. That's a cornrow. As you look at this side, it's smoother to the scalp and literally just looks like it went into a little V. That's called a French braid. The only difference, I'm trying to get rid of the glare of the sun, but it's not cooperating with me. The only difference literally is one is overhand, which will be this one here, and one is underhand. And, well, I'm going to have to do this when the sun is not directly in the way of the lighting. But now you can see the difference. One's overhand, one's underhand. When you're doing a French braid, especially when I do them in the back, you'll notice I go over like this with my hands, and it's mostly my arms that's doing the work. But when I do a cornrow, you'll notice I'm only moving my hands. Well, the difference is one is controlled by overhand motion. So to keep control, I generally use my arms as a fulcrum. And when I'm doing a cornrow, especially if you have to get close to the scalp, now you got to use your hands to get the grip. So we're going to try that again. I'm going to see if I can get where you can see me. In fact, I'm going to move the camera. Oh, look, a tangle. Well, let's work that through very gently from the ends up. Oh, that's another thing. If you have very thick curly hair, especially if it's longer, you want to get yourself one of these combs. It's called a pick comb. It's literally a pick with a handle. Because that way, instead of going like this with one of these, which can hurt if you hit a snag, you could literally take this, push it all the way down the scalp, lift it. And that takes all the tangles right out your hair very easily. I don't get many tangles, but when I do, I know to go like that. And then that takes most of the tangles to the ends where I can just work them out. Like that. So, let's do this again. I think I'm going to just split right down the middle so that way you can see. And since I did a French roll on this side, that's going to be a cornrow on that side now. And then we'll put a French roll on this side. That'll make for an interesting look, huh? Okay. That method I just told you. There you go. And hopefully you'll be able to see this better. This side is going to be a cornrow. A little oil. Smooth it through. Oh, some people actually use like hairdressing creams or whatever, or just a lot more water. Whatever you use, it's to let your hair slide smoothly through the hair, because wet curly hair, especially if it's in a dry state or has buildup or whatever, can feel rough to the touch, and we don't like rough. Now, I'm going to see how close I get to the camera and literally do a large braid where, hopefully, you can see it. Oh, and the longer your hair is, by the way, the more you have to be aware that when you do a scoop, do a pull. Do a scoop, do a pull. That allows you to detangle the individual sections as you're doing it, because when you're twisting hair of many strands, especially into smaller braids, you know, curly hair is friendly, and they'll like say, "Hey, Strand, how you doing?" "I'm fine, Trez, how you doing?" And they will get together and tangle up on you, and that is not what you want. So that's your way of keeping them under control and smooth. It also gives your braid the appearance of smoothness. You've seen braids where the hair and the style itself are all nice and neat, but the braid, little sections of it be looking like, I got brushed in there without being combed or something. There you go. Try to make sure you can see that. Now, on this side, I'm going to do an overhand braid. Hopefully close enough for you to see. And since this is a large section, I don't have to worry about splitting it, because when I spray water from an angle, I can literally feel it at my scalp, because the section is wide enough where my curl pattern is letting the water in. Sorry, spray bottle is not cooperating with me for the oil. There we go. Oh, and if you are a brusher, do the brushing before you add the water, please. So that way you don't, shall we say, cause yourself a mess of frizz. A lot of people don't realize it, but curly hair curls the moment you add water, and that frizzy effect shows up the moment you add the brush, because the brush separates all your curl clusters into mini curl clusters, which is all fighting each other and doing this, and you get frizz. Now, I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, one thing to mention about when you do a French braid, the whole middle section, instead of 3 pieces, is the inside of the braid. So basically, you're splitting the 2 on the side. The middle section is your first turn. See that? I'm just going to turn my head towards the camera and let you see what you can see, if you can see. If not, just let me know, and I'll work on another one, preferably with someone else holding the camera while I do it. But since this is a requested video, I'm hoping the person that I'm making it for will understand what I'm doing and that it works for her. But you'll notice I'm going overhand, and when I overhand, basically I let my arms do the work and just put my fingers in the position, let them follow through. But it's an overhand braid. When I learned how to do this, I learned how to do it on a yarn board, which is basically it's a design board for knitters, and we was working on French. And when you take a bunch of yarn and braid it and then turn it over, you can see that it's actually an inverted braid, and so forth and so on. Ta-da! And that's going to be about it. So this is P+7. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial on the difference between cornrows and French braids. I am going to just basically let my hair stay like this for a while until it's time to wash it again and do day 6 of my Terra Essentials. Or am I on day 5? I think I'm on day 6. I'll have to look at a calendar to know for sure. Either way, I only have 1 or 2 more days for this to go, and then I could go back to doing my hair once a week. When you get a chance, look up Terra Essentials Mud Wash Detox, and you'll know what I mean. But in the meantime, y'all stay blessed. P+7. Bye now.